David Pastrnak, Bruins breaking up. And we've got more on that front. But Zoe's got a big picture thought he needs to get to following yesterday with the letter from Charlie Jacobs to Bruins fans in which he emphatically claims he is a Bostonian.
Yes, he's a Bostonian.
By the way, that did strike a chord with Bruins fans in the bad way. In a bad way. That one did.
It's the whole Beantown thing, man. Like, there's things you don't do, right?
Maybe I'm just in a circle of Bruins fans, friends of mine that listen to the show and heard us talk about it yesterday.
Yeah.
But they're all like, this effing guy, what? Well, you're a Bostonian? Get out of here with that crap. I'm like, yeah.
We've always said that, though. Like, Bruins fans are different.
Man.
Bruins fans are different. Celtics fans are different. It's like with Chisholm. Like, hey, man, we love Boston.
Rhymes are nuts.
It doesn't matter. We don't care. We don't care where you live, where you make your home. As long as you pay for the team and you care about the team and you invest in the team. And I think the Jacobs, for the most part, lately, they've done that for this stretch of years where they've been in sort of contention and they've been a playoff team at least. But more of the breakdown of, like, the Jacobs comments coming out. Like, the start of the year, when he refers to the beginning of it, coming out of training camp, it seemed like there was chaos. No structure. No direction. And he's kind of scratching his head because of Monty's track record. So we talked about both coaches. Obviously, Butchie was the first one to get canned. He was shown the door. Wasn't getting along with the young players, right? Young players are too strict to coach. We don't like it. So you get rid of Butchie. He only goes and wins a freaking Stanley Cup in Las Vegas. He's got them, in first place, right back to where they are. Monty goes to St. Louis, clothes on his bench. They were 8 points under a playoff spot. He's got them into the playoffs. So you got two successful former coaches that Jacobs has said, we're going to hold people accountable, and it's of the utmost urgency and accountability right now. Here's my question moving forward. As you see, Joe Sacco has also commented that we'll see what happens here in the future. It will be addressed. I'm excited to see what happens. He's not going to be the coach. Here's the question. If I'm a good hockey coach, and this is a good organization that has some high-end talent, they're going to add to it. They have to add, right? Or you're not going to win. You don't have lines to compare with teams that are in the playoffs right now. What good hockey coach is going to want to come here if you sent those two guys packing? What's that going to do for me personally in my resume? You know, Cassidy gets sent. He goes to Vegas, and he wins the whole damn thing. And they're still in first place. And Monty, we know his track record and his win-loss record. He got shown the door. Why should I? And that would be the first thing I would say to my agent if I'm a good hockey coach. Why should I want to go to Boston? My ass could be gone in a year and a half. What if I got 3 young kids? What if I got a 12-year-old, a 10-year-old, and a 4-year-old? And my wife is a homemaker. And we're going to move there. And then all of a sudden, get our kids ingrained in new schools to develop new relationships. And I know you're getting paid a ton of money to be a coach. I get all that. But it affects families. It affects kids. Why should I uproot my family if I could potentially be shown the door in a year and a half? If they're unstable to top, because guess what? If things go badly, they're never going to blame the people that pick the players or ownership. They're going to blame the coach. That's what they've done for the last 2. They fired 2 good quality coaches that have gone elsewhere to have great success. Now, obviously, Butchie more so than Monty. But Monty's got St. Louis playing well.
Well, I was going to say, can I offer you the counter-argument?
Yeah.
Claude Julien coached here for a long time. I'm not sure he fits this, but we'll throw him into it anyway. He left here, and the next job he got was with Montreal.
And he failed.
No, but in terms of the ability to move on to the next gig.
He speaks 2 languages, remember? Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah, we had
so I throw that in there because it's not like being fired by the Bruins ruined his career.
No.
He's still coaching.
I get it.
He's still coaching, by the way, with your boy Monty down there in St. Louis.
Yep. And they do say that potentially he could have had that deal in his back pocket too, and maybe they got wind of that and that pissed him off too.
So Butchie gets fired. He goes and wins a cup without the Bruins.
But I remember,
Monty gets fired, and he immediately, within 6 seconds, is hired with a big pay raise to go to St. Louis, and he gets the team into the playoffs.
Big one.
Goes on a tear and gets the team to the playoffs.
Right.
And He was here after not having a job due to being fired due to off-ice issues, addiction issues that he has covered, and he rehabbed his image here and got another job with a big pay raise. So I would just say Claude Julien getting fired by the Bruins wasn't a bad thing for him. Talk about Butchie getting fired, wasn't a bad thing for him. Jim Montgomery getting fired by the Bruins wasn't a bad thing for him. So none of these guys can say the Bruins hurt my career in any way by firing me, because they all went on to good jobs.
Right.
Some of them went on to win Butchie, Stanley Cup.
But I mean, it's like free agents that don't come here, don't want to play for the Patriots because they want to go.
Your point, though.
You know what I mean?
Your point is, why am I going to take a job in Boston just to eventually be fired and be blamed when it may not even be my fault, which is what the Bruins do over and over and over and over again. I would say the draw of the market and the draw of the team.
Passion.
And the passionate fans. I think all of it still matters to guys in the sport.
Yeah.
And none of them will turn down the Bruins. But I do think the team is abusing people by that being the case. They're kind of...
I'm just saying, like, if families
There's
are...
a tipping point to that, too. Like we saw with the Red Sox GM job, right?
Right.
One of the more prestigious jobs in all of baseball, and you can't fill that for a while.
You couldn't get a coordinator come here. You had to go with Van Pelt, like the 11th guy on the list. Like, when you start factoring things in, these external factors, say family's important to you, and why should I uproot my family? Like, and I know from a coaching career, you've got to deal with that. And I just, see, that stuck with me because I remember seeing Butchie out in Vegas. I'm like, oh my God, this is awesome for you. Like, when you go visit Vegas, you're like, oh, this place is cool, but you're ready to get out of there in 3 or 4 days. And you see the homes out there, they're like gorgeous. You live on a golf course. He's like, this isn't the Northeast. He goes, it's tough on the family. And that stuck with me. And I'm like, oh, wow, he had a good team. He's winning there. And he's like, yeah, career-wise, yeah. I mean, coach, you win. But it's tough on the family. So, like, the sell job of the attraction to bring somebody here, maybe it is your history. Maybe it is, something you're going to add. Maybe it is Pasternak. Maybe you see something in McAvoy. Maybe you're a Swayman guy. And it's interesting. There was some stuff, too. Ty had some tweets coming out of there, like Corpusales talking about, it's tough to play. You want to play more than 20, 25 games as a goalie, Want to play more. How are they going to handle that moving forward? So somebody's going to have to come in here and be a little more strict than what it has been and have the understanding that I get my ass fired in a year. And it takes a different kind of guy, I think, to make that attraction because you got to weigh everything. I don't know. It stuck with me last night when I was listening to that. And, Monty and him went on to have success, but who the hell want to come here? Who the hell want to come here, given what they've done with the last two? Because where's the blame pie go? It goes right to the coach. Because they feel they put a good team in front of you. They're not that talented. They're talented in spots, but they have two strong lines. To roll out there with some of these teams you're going to see in the playoffs when they start here? The answer's no. And they got to fix it. And, I like the commentary wanting to fix it. That's part of the letter and accountability and all that, but how accountable are you going to hold people other than a coach? So.
Did they make it a rotten job with all these coaching firings?
Yeah, not an attractive.
And also,
Tipper's like, oh, go get Tortorella. Tortorella's the kind of guy you got to come in here. Well, he might come in here and they might butt heads right away.
Like, blaming Montgomery is totally fraudulent. And the thing that I thought of after yesterday was, how can you on one hand talk about how great the season was a couple of years ago with the epic collapse with Montgomery, then also on the other hand blame Montgomery for the way things went this year?
That's when I had my comment.
How can you take credit for one and then
exactly?
But I said it. That team was so good. He had his hands in his pockets. Like, what's he do?
And take no blame for what just went on.
Right. I joked about it during that time. It was a joke, but like, what the hell's Monty do? They don't have to do anything. This team's that good. Like, you stand there and admire it. He's just sitting there watching the game.
By the way, you fired your coach early, and then by the time you got to the deadline, you were completely blowing the team up.
Yeah.
So that's all a coaching issue at the start of the year? That's all a training camp issue? No, it wasn't.
No, you effed up the goalie situation, and you got off to a bad start.
Yeah, Swayman screwed them in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And their free agent acquisitions weren't as good as we had hoped. So
that's not Monty.
That's not coaching.
Monty's not getting those guys. Right.
Let's see here. Just looking at some of the quotes that have come out of the day. Sacco did say, as you mentioned earlier, it'll be something that his future will be addressed as we move forward. I look forward to seeing what happens in the near future, as he phrased it.
Well, let's make it. The needs to make a decision quick.
Yeah.
Let me know.
I think he's saying, if you're firing me, can we do it today? ASAP?
He's not stupid. Yeah.
There's no chance he's getting the job.
Swayman said, I take accountability. I wanted to play better. I know I can play better.
Thanks, Chriselle.
And you will play better when we manage your total number of games played to a lower number.
Does Korpisalo want to play more? Was he unhappy?
Yeah, he's got a quote today.
Yeah, what did it say?
I don't think there's any goalie in the league who's really comfortable playing 20 to 25 games. So I'm going to push for more games for sure. We'll see what happens.
I'm pretty sure Ty Anderson made some comments on this on his podcast at 98.5thesportshub.com recently about that. Like, he's kind of hinted that he wants to be out there more, and I say good. Have it. Yes, if that straightens out Swayman, more Korpisalo is fine. And by the way, he was better than expected, I thought.
Yes. After the first game was a disaster.
Yeah, but on the whole, this season, did you expect him to be better or worse than what he was?
No, worse than this.
Worse. Sure. So I think he exceeded the expectations, which we had that were incredibly low when they acquired him. But he did a nice job, and the Bruins and goalie Bob and all of that worked for him.
A season like this could humble a guy like Swayman.
Can it?
Don't you think?
I hope so.
Better.
Don't you hope that is true?
Yeah.
Bring back the goalie hugs with another guy. Just do that. Split the time.
Yeah.
Can't be any worse, can it?
Yeah, work toward people not talking about your contract is the first thing they talk about when they mention your name.
First thing you talk about with him now.
You mentioned Jeremy Swayman. The first thing you go to is the money they owe him and the money he's got coming to him.
Nobody's going to touch that.
That's it.
Untradeable.